Breaking news. The San Francisco 49ers have made a trade, and they go out and get, guess what? Another defensive tackle. This time, it's Malik Collins from the Texans. Shout out to D'Amico Ryans, Nick Caserio for facilitating this trade with the San Francisco 49ers because the 49ers really don't give up much of anything to get a starting caliber defensive tackle. The San Francisco 49ers trade a 7th-round draft pick for Malik Collins. And as we know, it does appear that Eric Armstead's time with the San Francisco 49ers is coming to an end, although it's not official. And we're still trying to discern if it's going to be a straight release, if the 49ers can facilitate a trade potentially, as there is a market developing around Eric Armstead. And we've just seen guys like Malik get traded. There is a potential that could happen for Eric. Doesn't mean it's going to, but it could. And the 49ers continue to stockpile defensive line depth. 2 edge rushers, 2 defensive tackles now, and the San Francisco 49ers go out and get a 28-year-old veteran, the former 3rd-round draft pick with the Dallas Cowboys out of Nebraska. He was selected pick number 67 overall in the 2016 NFL draft. He's played a lot of games. And from what it looks like, he's been healthy for most of those games. And as we look at what he did last year, he had 41 total tackles. 22 of those were assisted, and he had 5 sacks and 1 pass deflection. So that's not bad for an interior defensive tackle who stands 6'2", 310 pounds. I think we've seen 2 consistencies in regards to physical traits for the defensive tackles is that they're both 6'2". The 49ers signed Jordan Elliott from the Cleveland Browns yesterday for a 2-year, $10 million deal. He's about 6'2", 300. Malik Collins, 6'2", 310. And again, when we hear about the interest with DJ Jones is about that same size as well. So the measurables line up. But the San Francisco 49ers are telling us exactly what they're trying to do, and they're trying to bolster their defensive line as best as they can heading into the draft. And they go as far as trading for Malik Collins. When you look at his sack production over his career, and he's played with 3 teams, 4 years with Dallas. He had 1 year with the Raiders and 3 seasons with the Houston Texans. Last year, he had 5 sacks. The year prior in 15 games had 3.5 sacks. And then in 2021 had 2.5 sacks. So when you look at a interior defensive tackle, I would say if you're putting up in the range of 5 to 7 sacks, that's pretty solid production. And when you look at how the Texans valued him, they gave him a 2-year, $23 million contract extension just last season at the beginning of last year, which included $20 million guaranteed. So he had 2 seasons with the Texans. Texans clearly valued him enough to give him a pretty big time contract extension. While he still had 1 year remaining on the original 2-year, $17 million contract that he signed in 2022. So he's produced for them, and to the point where they gave him an additional contract extension. I don't know what happened and why they're making a change, maybe to clear up some cap space. I don't know. But if you just look at what Malik Collins did in 2022 with the Texans, he had a success rate against the run of 57.3%. And when he was on the field for the Texans and when he was off the field, the Texans only had a success rate of 53.8%. So you can see that it dropped with him not being on the field. So he is going to be, again, to me, more of a run defender I think, than anything else. I don't look at him as a pass rusher. He can rush the passer, but I do see him fitting yet again in a similar style as the other defensive tackle that the 49ers just signed in Jordan Elliott. So the trends that we're seeing, run stuffing guys. They got one pure pass rusher in Leonard Floyd, Yader Gross Matos, run stuffing capabilities. I would say that's where his best traits lie. And then you look at both these defensive tackles that the San Francisco 49ers have gotten, and they both are run stopping defensive tackles. So not really a crazy surprise there. When you look at his pass rush win rate ranking, he appears to be in the top 10. And that's pretty significant for a guy like that who had 32 wins, compared to, like, let's say Chris Jones's 42 wins. So that's not bad as well. So the 49ers are continuing to rebuild that defensive line. And this was one of the main points of emphasis that I harped on all offseason leading up to this free agency period, for the fact that they had, at the time, 6 defensive linemen under contract, only 2 of them at the time, or excuse me, 3 of them being defensive tackles. With the news of Eric Armstead moving on from the 49ers, that dropped them down to 2. So that's why you're seeing the San Francisco 49ers go out and target defensive tackles. And I don't think they're done. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to see additional trades for defensive tackles, but we just know it is what it is. It's a position where they typically carry 10 to 11 defensive linemen. They run a heavy rotation, and without guys coming back like Kinlaw and Armstead, you have to find serviceable guys who can fill those holes and fill those needs. And again, there's still rumors out there that the 49ers are very interested in getting defensive edge help from guys like potentially Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack. So the 49ers aren't done adding to this defensive line. In fact, they're probably going to continue stacking. But with this signing, or excuse me, with this trade, that's a good trade. We'll see what the cap ramifications are, how much money they're taking on, but to get him for a 7th round pick. Now, he might not be an absolute stud by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, it's not bad. 13%, or no, he's 60% win rate against double teams. That's pretty darn good. So I think this guy's going to fit a much needed role on this defensive line. And hey, the 49ers are doing what they need to do. They're rebuilding, retooling. And the theme here is efficiency in regards to not overpaying, not overspending. That is the key. And again, this team, I think they obviously want to win now, but they're doing it in a way that they aren't going crazy and spending insane dollar amounts. So let me know what you guys think about this move. What do you think about all the moves so far? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.